Hello boys, TextureMan is back. Today we are going to create product visualization like this, and if you want to download this 3D model, link is in the description, so go and download it. Big thanks to the designer Dennis J who shared this model for free. Thank you, man. And now let's start working on this render. First step is to import our 3D model, so I'm just going to find my 3D model, double click and click on the import. Alright, so this is how it looks in the KeyShot with basic materials and basic settings. This is the basic camera, this is the basic environment, and this is the basic lighting. And if you want to create something more realistic, we need to create everything custom. So we are going to start with the camera. I'm going to click on this button to add new camera. I'm going to change the name to main camera view. And I'm going to change also the aspect ratio of the image. So I'm going to the image resolution preset landscape, and I'm going to use 1:1, which is exact the square. And I will need to change also this focal length to 80 millimeters to achieve a little bit more orthographic render. And I'm also going to use this front predefined view. This is like the good starting point. I need to turn on this grid to make sure this product is exactly in the middle of the frame. So something to like this. And I'm going to use distance something like this. This is the basic slider for distance, but I like to type exact numbers right here. And I'm going to turn off this grid mode. I'm going to save camera, lock the camera position, and now I can't rotate this camera. That's good. And if I need to rotate this camera, I'm just going back to my free camera. Now I can move freely around my product. And if you want to go back, you just click the main camera view and you are back into this main camera. Now we need to apply materials, so I'm going to use for this body something like the paint gloss. So I'm going to the paint, shiny, I'm going to use this paint gloss, double click on this material, I'm going to make sure it's completely black. And also I'm going to bump up this value a little bit more. Alright, and for this top, I'm trying to find something like a copper. So I'm going to the copper, basic, I'm going to use this polished material, double click on this copper, and I'm going to make this copper a little bit more rough, something to like this. And I need to split this part to two objects, so this will be like the chrome and this top will be like the black. So I'm going to the scene, I'm going to click on this top, and I'm going to use the tools, and I'm trying to find the split object surface, click on this. I'm going to make sure this is the 5, and just click on this top of the part, split surface, apply, and now we split these two objects. So I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to find Chrome Basic. I'm going to use this Chrome Rough, double click on this, go to the color and make this completely black, and this value I'm going to use something to like this. Let's create the new environment. So we are going to the environment tab, add new environment. We are going to use this lightning environment. We are going to turn on this ground shadow, occlusion ground shadow, and ground reflections. Now we are going to the HDRI editor to edit this canvas, and we are going to create some pins to lighten this bottle. So we are going for the highest resolution. We want completely black background, so no lights is in the scene. And now we are going to create our first pin, and we are going to create light behind the bottle. So add new pin. We are going to use smaller size. We want soft edges on the light, and we are going to move this light behind the bottle, something to like this, and I'm going a little bit down. So this light is exactly in the middle, and I'm going to turn on this fall off a little bit up, so we got much more soft edges, and I'm going to make this light a little bit less bright, something to like this, and I want this light to be a little bit bigger, something to like this, and this is our first light. Now let's create a couple more lights. So add new pin. We are going to use rectangular design. I'm also going to make this a little bit bigger, something to like this. I want just the half of the size, and I want to turn this on. So one side of the light is hard with sharp edge, and other side is with the soft edge. You can see this is the hard edge and this is the soft edge. We are going also rotate this light by 90 degrees, and we are going to light this part right here. So I'm just going to turn on this, and I'm going to click on the bottle, something to like this. This is actually really nice. And I'm going to use the slider to match exact position. So something to like this, and maybe like this. Yeah, this is really nice. And I'm going to make this light a little bit more bright. And I want exact copy on the other side, so I'm going to click on this light, and I'm going to duplicate this light, and I'm just going to click on this and use this as negative value. And we got this light on the other side, and we need also flip this light. So we are going to use negative value right here as well. And now we got exact same lightning on this side and exact same lightning on this side. Now we are going to create more pins. I'm just going to duplicate this light, and I'm going to move this light a little bit to the right side, something to like this. And I'm going again use these sliders to match exact position, so maybe like this. And maybe like this. This is really nice. And again, I'm going to duplicate this light, make this positive value, and also make this positive value to get exact mirror effect. This is really nice. So we need couple more pins. So I'm going to click on this, add new pin. I'm going to use circular design, and I'm going to make this light a little bit smaller. And I want to turn this fall off. So we got again soft edges, and now I'm just going to use again this button, set highlight, and I'm going to click on this edge right here. So something to like this. Alright, this is too much. So maybe I'm just going to click on this. This is nice, and I'm going to use the sliders again. So maybe like this. A little bit more to the right side and a little bit down. Alright, and I'm going to duplicate this light, and I'm again going to mirror this light with negative, so we got exact copy on the opposite side. Now I'm going to duplicate this light, and I'm going to move this light in the middle. So I'm going to highlight this part right here. And I'm going to make this light a little bit bigger. Also, I'm going to make a little bit more brightness. And I'm going to use the slider again. I want this to be exactly in the middle, so we need to use 0. And I'm going to also move it up and down. So I'm going a little bit down, something to like this. All right. This is really good. All right, maybe just a little bit down. And now I'm going to duplicate this light, and I'm going to move it a little bit more up, and maybe something to like this, because I want to highlight this part right here. So maybe like this, and maybe like this. I'm going to make this light a little bit less bright, and a little bit smaller. All right. And a little bit more up. And this is all for the lightning. So I'm going to click on this button, done. And I'm going to render this high resolution. But I'm just going to change these lights right here because this is too much bright. But I'm going to use a little bit bigger fall off. Yeah, so it's much more softer. This is what I'm looking for. And now let's create labels. So double click on this material. We are going to the labels. We are going to use this copper basic copper rough material. Double click on this material and we are going to change these to make it a little bit more shiny. And we are going to the label texture and I'm going to use my own texture. Just drag and drop. And I'm going to use this as the alpha. I'm going to change this mapping time to planar, part, move texture. I'm going to make this Z projection. I'm going to use this DPI as these millimeters. And you can see this is like the pattern. We're gonna turn this off. And we are going to use these 50 millimeters. I'm going also to change the angle. And I'm going to make it a little bit more higher. So something to like this. Oops. Something to like this. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And we are going to also use this bump map. And I'm going to use this one, but this is too much. So we are going to use negative value and something to like this. You can see how it looks. It's really nice. And now we are going to duplicate this label 2 times. So duplicate label. I'm going to change this texture. And I'm going to use this. This is all right. And I'm going to make it smaller. And I'm going to bring this texture a little bit more down. So maybe like this. This is all right. And I'm going to make it a little bit more shiny or a little bit more rough. Something to like this. This is really nice. And I'm also going to bring to this texture bump map. So I'm going to use this one. This is also too much. We are going to use same value as before. So this is all right. And I'm going to duplicate it. And again, I'm going to use different texture. I'm going to use this one. Again, I'm going to make it much more smaller. Actually, maybe like this. And I'm going to use these millimeters. So like this. And I'm going to bring this texture much more down. So maybe like this. This is all right. I'm going to make it a little bit more rough. I'm also going to bring this bump map. All right. Make it less visible. Really nice. And now I'm just going to I'm going to the opacity and I'm going to untick this and make it a little bit more narrow. So like this. All right. And this is how it looks when we apply all the labels. Now let's create the better reflection on the ground. So I'm just going to click on the edit, add geometry, add ground plane. All right, I'm just going to double click on this ground plane and I'm going to change this value to make it completely white. And I'm also going to change this value right here. So we want better reflection contrast. You can see how it looks. It's much more vivid. So maybe like this and sorry, maybe like this. This is really nice. And I'm also going to turn on this roughness just a little bit. So maybe like this. And also I'm going to make this a little bit higher. So you can see how it looks. It's kind of blurry and that's really nice effect. So it's not so strong, this reflection on the bottom. Alright, just a couple more changes. We are going to the Lighting tab, we are going to use the product rendering style, I'm going to the Image tab, and I'm also going to create something like post-production in the KeyShot. So I'm going to press this button to create the new style. I'm going to use this photographic style, and I'm also going to bump up this exposure value, something to like this. I'm going to use the linear contrast. I'm going to use this a little bit more to make it like the cooler effect, something to like this. And I'm going to bump up this contrast value, something to like this. And this is like our final visualization. I'm going to render this image. I'm going to use this resolution, use the clown pad, 256 sample, 16 rain bounces. This will be free, free, and free. And I'm going to turn on these all settings right here. They got sharp shadow, sharper texture filtering, and global illumination cache. And now this is the final visualization. Alright boys, these are the final renders. This is the render number 1. And this is our clown pass for easy selection. And now we are going to edit this image a little bit in the Photoshop. So we need to convert this image to smart object. We are going to the filter, camera raw filter. And we are going to use this slider to achieve a little bit more dramatic results. So I'm going to make this a little bit more cooler, use a little bit more exposure, contrast, even the highlights. Shadow I'm going to bring a little bit down, and the blacks a little bit more down as well. I'm going to use the texture, something to like this. Clarity as well. Alright, and you can see how it looks before and after. Now we are going to edit this image a little bit more, so I'm going to show this layer. I'm going to select Magic Vein tool, and I'm going to click on this floor, hide this layer, create the curves, and I'm going to bring this value a little bit more up, so it's a little bit more bright. Something to like this. Also, I'm going to select this floor, create the new layer. I'm going to click on this brush tool, make it completely black, 75 opacity, and I'm going to brush this bottom of this reflection. So something to like this, to hide it a little bit. Alright, and this is how it looks before and after. Alright, and now I'm going to show this layer again. I'm going to select this background, create the new curves, and again make it a little bit more brighter. So something to like this. Alright, I'm also going to click on this top part to make it a little bit more darker. So I'm going to use the curves again. So something to like this. And also I'm going to edit this bottle. Alright. And actually I'm going to select just this part. Make the curves. And make it a little bit more contrast, so something to like this. Alright, and I'm going to select also this bottom part and this part. Alright, I'm going back to this layer and make it a little bit more bright. Something to like this. This is really nice. And I'm going back to this layer. I'm going to select this background. And I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to this brush tool again. I'm going to use opacity 50%, something to like this. I'm going to click on the color and I'm trying to pick this copper color, something to like this. I'm going to make this brush tool bigger and I'm just going to click on this top part, something to like this. Alright, I'm going to make it opacity a little bit less. Alright. And you can see how it looks before and after. And now I'm going back to this layer and select this floor again. Make this white. Again, click on the brush tool, click on the new layer, make brush tool bigger, and make it a little bit more bright. Alright, I'm going to use this layer as soft light, make it bigger. Alright, I'm just trying to find something really cool, so maybe like this. No, that's not looking really good, so maybe lower. And yeah, this is really nice. Alright, and this is our final render. This is how it looks. Alright boys, so this is how it looks when we finish all the settings. And this is the final visualization. I hope you like it. And if you want to see more tutorials like this, hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. If you got any questions, let me know down in the comment section. And I hope I see you in the next one. Have a nice day and have a nice render. Bye bye.